Hey there, hanging out with Charlie Bones. It's pretty cold and windy here today, so we're hanging out on the inside, uh, in my living room, my homestead, my little nook, my hideaway, my place that I do my hanging and educating and all sorts of whatever. So anyway, I want to share a really interesting concept I heard about the other day. I want to talk about wealth, but not just financial wealth. We're talking about wealth in the idea of your health, your finances too, your love, and your overall happiness. Like, are you wealthy in friends and family and love? Are you wealthy in physical and mental health? That's pretty big, right? Are you feeling healthy? So, how to obtain this wealth? Okay, this is really interesting because it's going to be one of those things where you're like, can you say a subtle mindset adjustment could lead to really big long-term achievements in all these areas. So, whether you believe it or not, you want to naysay me, I don't care. I'm just going to throw this out there. From an individual who is wealthy and very prosperous in all these areas, he is under the belief that his wealthy, prosperous friends, they have a investigative mind. They're inquisitive constantly. They want to know what's going on. They're observing. They're asking questions. They're aware. His poor friends, whether they be poor in health, finances, or he seemed to say that this seemed to be you'd be poor in all these areas, not guaranteed, but they were always talking about what they knew. He said that's the biggest difference because he started off very poor and humble. He became very successful, and he's chosen to maintain both friends. He's like, there's no reason to stop having friends in different financial brackets or anything. I can still enjoy these people and motivate them even. So he seemed to be under the impression that his wealthy friends were inquisitive. They're aware. They never were trying to be too show offy. And some of you are saying, but I know people that are rich that are total assholes that show off. Once again, I'm not talking about just financial wealth, because those guys that are total assholes, they might have a lot of finances, but their other areas could be pretty inept or not adequate when it comes to existing. So focus on just your personal well-being is what I'm talking about when I speak to this wealth. Your personal prosperity, meaning health, wealth, love, happiness, all these things balancing together. And for each individual, that's different. So the idea is remain inquisitive, remain questioning. Don't just sit there and talk about all that you know all the time. It's nonsense. You don't know that much, and if you self-analyze, you're probably not doing that great anyway. Some people talk constantly but don't really do, and it brings me up to this famous quote: "Do as I say, not as I do." If you live by that, you're full of shit, and nobody should listen to you. That is a shit quote. All right, shit. How can you expect anybody to do as you say if you don't lead through action? Let it sink in. Never use that quote again. It is garbage. All right? So if you're somebody with that mentality, you're probably fucking up a lot of areas and then telling everybody else what they should be doing. Guess what? You're not that cool. Just say that. So get through your head right now. If you're that type of person, drop it. Give it up. Stop acting like you know everything. And if you do, put it into action. One of the famous Ben Franklin quotes is, "Ore left in the mine is of no value," meaning intelligence gained but not applied is of no value. It's worth nothing. You can be a know-it-all, but if you're not shown it all, what the fuck are you worth? Nothing. So remember this as you go through your day, and remember to be inquisitive, be aware. Don't just constantly talk about what you know and how much of an awesome person you are and how great everything is for you, when really you're not really leading through example mostly all the time. I mean, it's rare that you find somebody that is that boastful, that is truly successful in all areas of life. It really is. Think about it. Most of your people that are really doing great, they have a bit of humbleness to them. And so that's one good tip. And then the next thing that leads right into humbleness. Okay, some people are outwardly humble and they think that is true humbleness, but humbleness is being inwardly humble. And this goes back to the first thing I'm talking about, where you're inquisitive, blah, blah, blah. I know some people that are very humble on the outside. You would think they were humble, but really they don't ever listen to anybody. They can't take any advice, and they can't seem to get things working for them in a way that isn't stressful, that isn't taking away from them. They're not getting things to work for them. They're constantly working for everything else. And it's crazy because you would think, like, they're outwardly humble, So that means they're inwardly humble too, but it's actually very inwardly cocky. It's a yin and yang thing. The more you try to express your humbleness outward, it's probably because you don't want to listen to anybody else inside. You have it figured out in your head already that you know everything and there's no other way to be prosperous other than your way of doing things. This is extremely inaccurate. The shared mind is going to be what's successful for you in any area of life. You're not the only person with good ideas. Other people around you have great ideas. Sure, they're not all home runs, but you know what? Maybe 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20. That's pretty damn good if you're listening, if you're just taking time to speak to each other and acknowledge what everyone else is saying, and then you collectively put together the best plan out of all the minds around you. You're not that genius. You're not above everybody else. Take time to listen and figure out what is going on around you and take those great ideas, take that great influence, and be the representative of all those collective minds around you and watch the success come pouring your way, whether it be friendship, love, admiration, finances too. If you're in a business, take the ideas of everyone else around you. Stop thinking that you're somehow a genius and you know everything already when you've never ever succeeded before in these areas. Why would you shut everyone else out? There's geniusness all around you. How to do everything is all around you. So take the time to listen, learn, be aware, and remember, this isn't just my thought. This is other very successful people live by the idea that wealthy people have an inquisitive mind. Poor people are constantly talking about what they know and brooding. Remember this. It's a subtle shift, but if you're a boat in the ocean sailing, a 1 degree change may not feel like much at first, but over the long course, it changes your entire route. So make the subtle adjustments you need to stay on your course, whatever it is. Don't let life bump you off. Don't let life push you off. Pay attention, because that's the thing. If you're not paying attention, you don't even know when life's bumping you around. You're just going with the flow. Well, shit, you might flow into a fucking nowhere. All right? Have some direction. Have some guidance. Throw your sails into the wind and soar. All right? Kind of, mixed reference there, but you get what I'm saying. Be conscious, be aware, make your decisions, be progressive, and even aggressive about obtaining your goals. You don't have to hurt anybody or do anything crazy, but don't be afraid to make moves, make decisions. Otherwise, you're going to sit stagnant or even worse, get pushed around by life. Hell with that. This is your life. Grab it by the cojones and steer it and tell it where to go. All right, so that's some interesting concepts of, be inquisitive, be inwardly humble, not just outwardly humble while inwardly cocky. All right, take the time, learn, listen from those around you. I'm going to sum it up one more story. Another one, I might not be accurately referencing this, but I believe I am enough. I think it was Marcus Aurelius the 17th, one of the greatest leaders of all of written recorded history, and a very young leader. He was known for, one, making great decisions by asking all the people around him what they thought. What was their opinion? How do you feel about this situation? And after talking to everybody individually, he would then think, and he would coordinate and align the best route possible that he felt. And you know what? People regarded him as one of the greatest ever. And that leads to the next part of the story. As he became so revered, he would walk around and people would say, "You are the best, you are great, you are the best ever." And knowing that he needed to remain inwardly humble in order to maintain being a great leader, he had somebody behind him follow him saying, "You're just a man." Every time he was praised, they would whisper to him, "You're just a man." He needed to stay inwardly humble, and he knew this. He was very intelligent, very wise, and as a result, he was one of the greatest of all time. So, anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. This is Guy Dog Beard hanging out in the house on a windy, wet Michigan November day. All right, peace out, y'all. I'll talk to you some other time.